Hello and welcome back to First Thoughts. I'm Simon, this is Justin, and today we're catching up a bit. We were behind on some stuff, so today we're actually going to be doing two separate movie reviews. We're doing A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, and we're also doing, what was the other one called? Him, yes. Originally titled Goat, and they changed that. We'll get into that later.
Well, that was a movie.
We're skipping straight to spoilers on both of these. If you don't want anything spoiled from this, you just want to hear, because we're doing A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey first. So if you don't want anything from that spoiler, you just want to hear the other one, I'm going to put a timestamp for when the second one starts, that being Him. We'll put that in the description below. But if you don't want anything spoiled from either, you should go watch them first before we talk about it. Okay, so A Big, Bold, Beautiful Bill Nye the Science Guy was written by Seth Rice and directed by a man who goes by simply Kogonada. It's starring Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And, boy, oh boy. The plot... How does one describe the plot of this movie? Essentially, Colin Farrell is the main character, and he is trying to make it to the wedding of a friend, unspecified person in his life, when his car has gotten booted, so he needs to go to the car rental company, that is their name, which was founded in 1994, also has 1994 in the phone number. That never gets brought up again. I don't know the significance of that. But anyway, he goes there, and they only have two cars, which are both 1994 sedans of some type, and they insist on you taking the GPS with them. By the way, this is where Phoebe Bridge, fucker, whatever her name is, comes into play. She is the saleswoman trying to pitch these cars and the GPS, and the humor of the scene and the writing of the scene is like they just figured out they're getting away with saying fuck, because they say fuck a million times and think it's so funny, and it's one of the most painful scenes I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, from there, he follows this GPS to this wedding where he meets Margot Robbie. They have kind of a moment and then head their separate ways, but then from there, the GPS takes control and begins asking them...
It gave them the options.
Sure.
It's like they chose to take the big,
are you
bold,
ready to go
journey?
on this big, bold, beautiful journey? And they say, yeah, why not? And it says, okay, cool, let's go to Burger King. They have onion rings.
Food burger.
They have onion rings. McDonald's don't has that. From there, it just becomes a fantasy akin to... It was very reminiscent. They stole a lot from a bunch of things. But the main two movies it reminded me of was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and The Adjustment Bureau. Apparently, also, it's based off of Howl's Moving Castle.
It's inspired by in some ways.
Yeah, we haven't watched that recently enough to get the references, but apparently it was inspired by that as well. And how do I put it? It's bad, and good. It's good, bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, good. It's good. This is a very good movie. And it's painfully good. It sucks because it should be amazing. And it's just not. And the main reason it's not is because the writing is abysmal. It's not as deep as it thinks it is. It doesn't follow through on the ideas it comes up with well enough. And the writing of the dialogue, it just sounds like a student script. It's like awful. And I hate it. And also, it's so painfully clearly written by a man. He doesn't know any women. Because, Colin Farrell's character is, maybe nuanced is a strong word, but he's fleshed out.
Yeah.
He's very typical. He's, Joel Barish from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He's this guy who is fairly successful in life, but he apparently hates himself or something, and so is just too scared to do anything, essentially. They never fully fleshed that out, but I'm extrapolating details. Margot Robbie, however, is just awful. They really emphasize how, she fucked everybody, including her teacher, and she cheats on people before they can cheat on her because she would rather break their hearts than have her broken. And then she's like, but I'm just scared. That's why I do it all, because I'm scared.
She doesn't want to be hurt.
I'm just broken and I need to be saved. And it's like, Jesus Christ, this is like a teen boy's wet dream. It does not sound like a woman in any way. It sounds like a fantasy for a dude. And it's just gross, I guess. I don't know. I hated her character.
Listen, she would cheat on all those other guys, but never Colin.
Never Colin. Except for she would. And that scene. They lift a scene almost directly from Eternal Sunshine, where after they've gone through this big, bold, beautiful journey, which, by the way, since we're in spoilers, is they go through various doors. You see this in the trailer anyway, but they go through various doors that take them to various points in their life, like iconic, life-changing moments, and they relive them for better or worse. And after they've seen each other's nitty-gritty, they then are confronted with each other again, and she's like, we should just break up now. And it's like, no, we should stay together. And she's like, no, because it will just, this will happen, and you'll get sick of me, and then I'll just want to leave, because that's what I always do. That's the line from Eternal Sunshine. And then in that, Joel Barish, Jim Carrey, goes, okay. She goes, what? He goes, okay. And then they laugh, and then they run off. In this, they add another few lines of dialogue, and then Colin Farrell goes, okay. And I was like, ah! Oh, God. It's so upsetting because, for those of you who don't know, I'm on record as saying Eternal Sunshine is my favorite movie of all time. I'm a sucker for those kind of movies. And so when I heard this movie was a knockoff Eternal Sunshine, even though that wasn't meant as a compliment, I was like, you know what? I know that was meant as a dig. That actually makes me a little excited, though, because I love Eternal Sunshine just that much.
Yeah.
This movie, like I said, it was like a student film. It really was. At least from the writing. Clearly you had big budget actors and cameramen involved and stuff. But it was not good.
I do enjoy Margot and Colin together. Even if they aren't given the greatest material to work with. But going back to see all their formative emotional moments, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to do that better, but
oh, definitely.
Either way, it just was never going to be great for me, you know?
Eternal Sunshine. They did it. They, flirt with these cool concepts of, like, developing these characters, and, like, at one part, Margot Robbie actually creates new memories because they're on their own paths, where apparently what Colin Farrell has to do is forgive himself, and so he actually, in the last scene he does, is he becomes his own father to see himself like his father does. Guess what that scene amounts to? Fuck all, nothing, because they end up just playing Street Fighter or some shit. And,
they were bonding.
No, they fucking weren't. It was so bad. It was like that moment was actually flipped, where the whole time he had all the character development and she had none of it.
Yeah.
And then her last scene was actually really good, and his scene sucked ass. Because he goes up there, his younger self has just been turned down by who he thought at the time was the love of his life. Clearly, it meant a lot to him, because still, 30 years later, he's still upset about it.
So upset he has to tell her on stage in the middle of this flashback.
Yeah, it was painful. And so he goes in there, and his first thing he says when he sees himself crying on the couch is, oh, you're pathetic. And that's the first time you get the idea that he hates himself.
Yeah.
This whole time I thought he was fairly normal, and then he's like, apparently he hates himself, and it's like, oh, you're pathetic. And he has to now learn to love himself. Never got that vibe the whole time. The closest they get to that is he's like, my parents always used to tell me I was special. I wish that I could just go back and tell myself you're normal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fair. There's a lot of kids that have that shit where, like, they're entitled because they had too good of a childhood,
yeah,
and they need a wake-up call. That doesn't mean you hate yourself.
Well, the only reason I got that he definitely had some sort of negative feeling, not that much, but, like, something was because after he said that, he said, it sets you up for a great big fall or something like that. Something along those lines.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's
relatable. What's this deep trauma he's going to have in his, like, 20s where he got humbled and then...
Nothing.
When he got to the opportunity to go back in time, I thought he was going to have a bit more of a...
Nothing.
Kid, you're great, but don't hype yourself up all this much. And, you gotta be able to handle this stuff, and, you gotta grow from this, not let it crush you. And
No, but the scene...
it just made it seem like he had like daddy issues that I didn't quite get before that.
I don't think he did have daddy issues.
It made it seem like it. It made it seem like in the past, like his dad didn't really comfort him or didn't do the right thing comforting him or just said the wrong things comforting him. I don't know exactly what because we didn't get to see the actual version of that.
Exactly, because they didn't flesh out this shit. Because, like, he ends up... It's, like, supposedly a big reveal that when he was born as a baby, he had a heart condition.
Yeah.
And that he then had resolved, and he was fine for the rest of his life. And he's... Apparently, it's a big moment that, oh, my parents never told me about that. And it's like, my parents never told me about any of my flaws. What? They hid this from me. I'm like, why do you care? You know? But apparently this is a big moment for him. And then, like I said, we're leading up to this moment where he's supposed to be like, you're normal to himself. But then he ends up, they were cutting back and forth between his scene, which is painfully a nothing burger from Burger King, and her scene, which is so impactful. And every time it cuts back, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Because it's like, he's like trying to like have this conversation with his younger self, as if he's his son. And it's like, okay, but it's not really going anywhere. It's more his younger self telling him that he knew about him crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, where is that going? How is that healing anybody? It sounds like it would be healing for the dad, not for Colin. But
yeah,
okay.
Considering you're telling yourself
You remember
information you
this,
already
I
knew.
thought. But
Right.
then we cut away to Margot's story, which we'll get to. And then when we cut back, they're playing Street Fighter. And he's like, when did you get so good at this? And he was like, I was always good at this.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why it doesn't seem like his dad did any of that stuff. Because, like, okay, so you never had that conversation with your dad. So either this conversation didn't go down that way, or you just never had it. Like, did he never comfort you?
Yeah, we never said what was said originally, so there's nothing to compare and
And it
contrast
still
to.
ends with, hey, dude, you're special.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a big moment that's built up to, but he goes like, they're playing and he's like, all right, I gotta go. And then he's like, oh, I gotta tell you something before I leave. And he goes, what, Dad? And he goes, you're special. And he leaves. And it's like, it was that quick. And I was just like, hold on, what the fuck was that? We didn't even finish building up and it's already over.
Like, you treat the you're not special thing as some sort of negative when it just makes some sense.
Yeah.
Don't let your kid have some hyperinflated ego like he's hot shit. You are not the greatest thing in the world. We love you like you are.
Yeah.
But you are not the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Makes total sense for like 16-year-old. No, maybe not that night. Fine. He's crying. I get it. Not that night.
Yeah.
But like,
But have a real conversation. And like, maybe there was one, but it happened off screen. If there was one.
doesn't seem like there was one.
It was terrible. It was really such a mess because up until that point, I thought they dealt with his story fairly well. Because if I'm not mistaken, the last flashback we had before that wasn't a flashback. It was them meeting at like a diner, both of them with their previous partners.
Yeah.
And in that moment,
Well,
he
it-
realizes...
I think it was a flashback to separate times that they were both at that diner. And,
Yeah, but then it
they're,
went
like,
off script.
together.
Yeah, it went off script.
Like a lot of
and
words.
then they end up all getting at the table together, and then like you're lying about it, like give us the real answer.
Yeah.
Because he's just like, oh, I just, I left because whatever. And she's like, that's not real. Give me the real answer. And his real answer ends up becoming, I will never be happy with anybody because I'm trying to, like, I need them to make me happy. So unless I can just be content in myself, I won't be happy with anybody. And you're like, oh, okay, this is like deep, this is good, this is thought-provoking. And then the scene with his dad. And I'm like, or not even with his dad, him being the dad and the younger. It was just such a bad, like, payoff. Because we were building somewhere, I'm like, okay, I'm getting invested. I really like that diner scene or that cafe scene. And, her part was interesting too, even though her cafe part wasn't. I'm talking with her mom though, because the cafe part was her just going like, yeah, I just leave you because I don't want to be hurt, so I leave before they can hurt me, so I hurt them. And it's like just the standard
Yeah, I just leave you in the middle of the night.
teen guy writing about a woman
You're
that
super worried
he
about
needs
me.
to save, and
Yeah.
like, oh, aren't broken women so attractive? And it's like, shut the fuck up, this is so painful.
But he's also a broken man, and together
They're
complete each
broken.
other.
Broken people break people. Hurt people hurt people. It's just gonna make shit worse. No, his storyline made sense in that moment of, oh yeah, you're always looking for them to fix you or make you feel complete. You got to do that shit on your own before you get in a relationship.
Listen, he's just it's all about the chase, man. You know, the ideal of their potential relationship.
Yeah.
It's just
But
it never works out to be that
then,
way.
like I said, it flips the script and it goes to her and her mom, and she's having a moment with her that maybe it did happen. I don't think it did, but maybe it did because they jumped to a different time when she was 12 and she was 15 in the other scene, and that became their last moment together, where they watch a movie together and then she says, let's pretend that I'm older and so you can talk to me like I'm older. They end up having this really cute moment where she's like, Mom, I'm really bad with men, which still is leading into the guy written thing. But then the mom, first of all, the actress who played the mom, I'm not sure who that is. I don't know where my phone went. Lily Robb, maybe, as in Broccoli Robb.
That's my guess.
Very small role, but she was great. She was awesome. And she's just like, yeah, you know what? Me too. And she's like, why? And she's like, I don't know. And so they just have this moment of just like pure, genuine intimacy. Margot Robbie is not judging her mother, and her mother isn't judging her, which I never think she did, but I think Margot Robbie always assumed she was. And now she's seeing it with fresh eyes, realizing like, no, she just loved me. She genuinely loved me.
There's never been any single sign that the mother felt any hint of disappointment at all towards Margot Robbie.
But she's putting it on herself.
Because she wasn't there in the end.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's most of the grief.
Yeah.
There's a lot of happened when they were young, and she has these clear daddy issues for her father leaving them when she was young too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of her entire trauma, outside of being bad with men, seems to stem from the fact that she was screwing her professor while her mom was dying alone in the hospital.
Yeah, which is crazy because they like frame it in a way, and maybe this is supposed to be her trauma, but it's never said or addressed by anybody else. But it's like, I'm screwing my professor because I'm such a bad person and I'm such a slut. And it's like, you were taken advantage of by an adult man. Like, why did none of the other people around you say, I'm so sorry that happened to you, instead of, oh, it's okay, I don't judge you. Like, that's how they responded to her admitting that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's fine, your past is your past. I'm like, no, you should be like, holy shit, are you okay? And she'd be like, no, see, because I'm so cool. Like, no, you think that because it's a defense mechanism. You were fucking raped. That's what happened. But clearly, no mature man was involved in writing this script. And that's why I'm like, it feels like it was written by a 12-year-old guy who has never talked to a woman more than 2 seconds, has no understanding of how the feminine mind works, and just went, I'm a man who's insecure, and I want a woman that I can save to make myself feel better. That's what this movie screamed to me.
Yeah, kind of.
Didn't like that. Did not like that at all. So
saving her completes him.
Yeah.
And that's why he'll never feel bored with her.
Yeah.
Because she's damaged.
Yeah.
Now, if we could just tattoo that on both of their foreheads, we could really tell that they're damaged.
So, yeah, they did redeem her character a lot at the end, but it was kind of, to me, a little too late. And ultimately, that's not even, I mean, that is the worst of it. It is. But there's plenty of reasons this movie's bad. The dialogue is atrocious. I love Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie. This was probably the worst performance of Margot Robbie's career, and it wasn't her fault. It was the dialogue was just too much to chew through. Colin Farrell, I give him the most props possible because he took some of the worst lines I've ever heard and made them sound okay. He really did. But he was working his ass off to get to that point. So he made his character half good. She couldn't, and I don't blame her. Nobody, I don't think anybody could have. So that was on the writing. The writing was terrible. The plot, like I said, it should have been good because it's all of these good ideas, but the good ideas were taken from better movies. I'm not even a big fan of the Adjustment Bureau, but it's a great idea. And so they took that idea with the doors and the, fate of it all. And I get that, and that's fine, but they just didn't do it right. And then the whole Eternal Sunshine of it all. Eternal Sunshine is like a perfect movie. You were setting yourself up for failure trying to recreate that in some way.
But that's what's profitable.
No, it's not.
That's what could be profitable.
Not really.
And it takes less effort, less planning, and
this was a student film with a bigger budget. Not even that big of a budget. It looked pretty low budget. But hey, Burger King paid for some of it, so there's that.
Yeah, they definitely had to shell out some money there. Get a fast food burger. Oh, Burger
The Whopper?
King.
Yeah, there's a conversation at it when it's like, oh, you wanted a fast food burger? Or a fast food cheeseburger? And he was like, that's a Whopper with cheese, actually. I was like, Jesus Christ, they pay you every time you mention the product? Because then they're like, onion rings. You want an onion ring? And she's like, this is the only ring I'm getting from you. Which, by the way, that scene, when they first met at the wedding and they're talking, and she goes like, you want to get married? I'm sorry, she didn't have the Harley Quinn accent in this movie, but I can't do a Margot Robbie impression without doing it. She's like, you want to get married, Mr. J? And he's like, haha, that's very funny. And she's like, no, I'm serious. You want to get married? And I'm becoming curly a little bit. Like, like that to me is just like the quintessential drama club guy, teenage guy who's never actually had a serious relationship. Is like, wouldn't it be great if some hot girl at a wedding came up to me and just threw herself at me? And then she was like, oh, but no, I'm too dark and mysterious and damaged. You can't have me.
Hey.
And then he's like, oh, but I'm so special and unique and wonderful, even though I'm exactly like every other guy.
Hey, listen.
I'll fix everything.
Listen, she did not throw herself at him right away, okay?
She proposed to him in the first 2 seconds.
She played hard to get
She
at
played-
first.
Not
Remember,
really.
the friends brought them together, and as soon as those friends walked away, she immediately left. And then he had to find her once, maybe twice more, before he finally started breaking the ice. And it was his charm.
No,
that
he
really-
didn't come and find her. She was dancing. He went out to smoke, and then she came out, right? Or no,
Oh, no, they came out.
Oh, she was standing out there, and he came out to smoke.
Yeah, he came out to smoke. They weren't trying to find each other. They just bumped into
Yeah.
each other. And then that led to conversation, which
Yeah.
led to charm. And so, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's his charm. So it's even more the fantasy.
He was so charming.
He he won
And
her
then she
over.
mocked him for trying to be charming. And I
Yeah.
was like, was he trying to be charming? I think he made one joke.
I thought the friends were trying to set them up together, but mostly
Sure.
because I figured this was the rom-com.
I really wish, like, because there were so many ideas that, like, if you had just fleshed that out more, it would have been good. But they didn't develop, like, anything. It all felt rushed. It all felt like, well, you know what it felt like? It felt like somebody who had been inspired by something good and just tried to recreate it without understanding why it was good. Imagine that. You can be inspired by stuff.
Just heavily inspired.
Yeah, and you can be you can be heavily inspired by something. Interstellar was heavily inspired by 2001: A Space Odyssey, but guess what? It was fucking good. You just have to know why what you're copying is good, because if you know why, you can emulate it. If you don't know why, you are just copying for the sake of copying, and it's no longer homage, it's no longer emulating, it is just cut and paste because you went, it worked before, we'll do it again. I went on this rant a few years back doing a drunk review of that awful animated Grinch movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where in that movie, have you ever seen a movie, I know you have, but I'm going to preface it this way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen a movie where you've got two characters at either end of a ridiculously long table?
Yeah.
You've seen plenty of jokes like that. They do that in Tim Burton's Batman. They do that in Coming to America. They do that in Cinderella. Each time they do it, there's a different punchline attached. In Batman, it's to show he doesn't know how to socialize. In Coming to America, it shows how separated he is from his parents in more ways than one. In Cinderella, it shows this many gags with Jerry Lewis being forced to get up and walk back and forth, being this servant to his family. In The Grinch, the joke is they're sitting at a long table because they saw, hey, funny joke here, funny joke here, funny joke here. What's the common denominator? Ooh, long table. Long table equals funny. That's what this movie was they just went, what did they do before? let's just do that then. And no thought went into it, or at least it didn't appear. If there was, sorry, but it came across as somebody just copying what they'd seen before and not giving a shit.
You just don't appreciate the thought that went into this. Hours upon hours.
Minutes upon
Brainstorm.
minutes. Seconds upon seconds. They had to spell check when they copied and pasted. So much effort.
You gotta change a little bit. Come on. They got plagiarism checkers out there.
You know what? I thought of this yesterday. I forgot to say it until now. This felt like a ChatGPT script. It really did.
Gotta check for the dashes.
Oh, God. I'm surprised during the credits it didn't say, you asked for a story that resembled Eternal Sunshine and Howl's Moving Castle. Here you go. Jesus Christ. I wanted to love it. I really did. Because it had all the moments a movie I would love is supposed to have. But, man, it fucked it up. But you know what? I feel like I know some people who would love this movie still. Because I think there's a small demographic. There's a small Venn diagram of people that like these kind of indie artsy movies that also aren't critical of how films are written. There's a small Venn diagram overlap there, and I know a couple people that will probably love the hell out of this movie. Can't say I'm one of them, but I there's an audience for this. There is. And I'm just disappointed. Even the GPS idea that I didn't know was going to be in it, it reminded me of something like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I was like, hell yeah, I like this. And then it just wasn't, they didn't do anything with any of it. All right, well, we're running in circles. Our wheels are spinning in the mud. So we're going to move on to the next movie. Oh, we should rate that one first. As much as I'm giving it shit, I really enjoyed aspects of it. I really did. Some of the visuals were really good. The cast, some of it, Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie, are endearing. The concepts are all there. I'm going to give it a 5. Not because it's forgettable, but because it is equal parts love and hate for me when I think of this movie. I both love it and hate it at the same time.
I'm fairly indifferent here. I guess 5.5, 6 for me. It's not good. I don't like it, but I don't hate it.
Why give it a positive rating?
I'm never gonna. I don't know. It's just 5. I don't.
You said you were about to say I'm never gonna think about it again. Give it a 5.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
5s all around. If this was a different show, that would be a great review. All right. Thanks for watching. We're now getting into Him. And if you're now just joining us, welcome. We are done talking about that other movie. We are now talking about Not by Jordan Peele. He just produced it. Don't credit him with this movie.
It's from the producer.
Yeah, of Get Out. Him, which, as I mentioned at the top of this, was originally named Goat. And when it got rebranded to Him, I got really confused for a month. Like, what happened to this movie? And then Him trailers started coming out. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. Very confusing. Should have stayed with the Goat because it just made much more sense.
What are you talking about? That's him.
Yeah,
Timothy Tebow.
Yeah. Him Hardashian. Timothy Chalamet. Anyway, if you haven't seen the trailers, but at this point, this is spoilers, so you've probably seen the movie already, but whatever. The plot follows Cameron Cade, the new quarterback coming out of college. They couldn't, for some reason, I guess, I get why, I guess. They couldn't get any NFL or actual sports teams involved in this, so it's not the NFL, but for all intents and purposes, it's the NFL.
If you see this movie, you know why they wouldn't want to be involved at all.
Yeah. But, so he's the new up-and-coming. If people knew who Patrick Mahomes was going to be coming out of college, then that's who he is, essentially, to Tom Brady, who's Marlon Wayans' character, who has won 8, because he's better. Or has Tom Brady won 8?
I
thought it was 7 too, but now I'm questioning myself. But regardless, he's the Tom Brady. But he's won 8 championships, all following, because I guess he won the one, but broke his leg doing it.
Yeah, he won and broke his leg on the final
And then they're
play.
like, oh, he's going to never play again. And then he won 7 more after that.
Yep.
And you're like, how did he do that? Anyway, so this guy, he's going to be the new best quarterback. And people are thinking he's going to replace Marlon Wayne's character, Isaiah White. And so then, right before the Combine, though, he's attacked by somebody in a goat costume, and they crack his skull open with, like, a lead pipe or something. And so they're like, is he going to retire? Or is he going to compete? What is going to happen? He ends up having to miss the Combine, and so a bunch of teams are already out on him simply for that, which is a bit extreme, but could happen.
Catastrophic, very strong head injury.
Sure.
He's got brain swelling. He's concussed on the day of the Combine.
Yeah.
And he's acting extra irrational
He's
now.
refusing to talk to the media.
Yeah.
Makes sense, I guess.
It is a steep drop for him.
But so Isaiah White, though, says, I'll give you an opportunity to come work out with me for a week at my house. We've got like a boot camp style thing. Come on out. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll get you in touch with my people. They've got the same agent already, which is crazy. So then, as you can tell from the trailers, it becomes a horror movie of, what are you willing to sacrifice? Which, by the way, Black Twitter would have you know that he deserves an Oscar for this movie, Marlon Wayans.
I did like him the most in this movie, but Oscar is interesting.
Yeah. Marlon Wayans was the best actor in this movie.
By far.
I enjoy Marlon Wayans. I enjoy all... The Wayans brothers are great. I love them. Nothing about this movie deserves an Oscar. I'm just sorry. Horror movies in general very rarely will get Oscars, and this one certainly will not even get nominated for anything. But yeah, this movie was kind of a disaster from start to finish, and it's a shame because at a certain point I thought maybe it'll actually be good. And then it just didn't. Once again, we just talked about it in the last movie. Talk about wasting potential. There was so much exciting to me, because I love these kind of movies about what are you willing to sacrifice for whatever. Like, talk about Whiplash. Imagine Whiplash as a horror movie kind of thing. Like, you're going to kill yourself to attain this goal or to achieve new heights or whatever. And now you add in Illuminati or whatever into it, you know, blood sacrifices type shit. And so you're getting ready for that. Like, obviously, goat imagery, because goat means greatest of all time, but goat is also the symbol of Satan, and the Illuminati and all of that. So you're waiting for all these goat connections to lead somewhere. They don't. It's really painful, too, because, like, the movie was clearly named Goat when they wrote it.
Yeah.
Because of how many times they say goat.
Yeah.
Sure, they say him a lot, too. And they...
and all the nicknames.
In the credits song, H-I-M, 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 I shop at H&M, H&M.
Disrespecting Denzel over here.
But yeah, it keeps leading up to something that never really, to me, paid off in any sort of logical way, because the scares are of two kind in this movie. One, they are his hallucinations that keep coming back or haunting him, which, if you've got severe brain trauma, sure, that could happen. Two, it's this Illuminati bullshit. But, like, that shit's supposed to build slowly, right? It's supposed to be like, what are you willing to sacrifice? Will you push yourself past any normal limits, right?
Yeah.
From day 1, or is it 2? 1 or 2, they are murdering this free agent wide receiver. And they're going like, and he's freaking out like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, what are you willing to sacrifice? You're a pussy, come on. And he's like, oh, okay. And just goes along with it. And I was like, we didn't build up to this or nothing.
Yeah.
The next day after that, he then, like, murders a guy who's trying to tackle him by headbutting him, which, crazy thing to do. He's the one with a broken skull, and he's headbutting people. And I was just like, we needed to build up to this. We did not build. We went from 0 to 100 in seconds.
Yeah, I want to say it was day 2, but yeah, it really just ramps.
Yeah.
And seeing the goat people and seeing some of the mysticism really early on, too. I know it was in the trailer, but that also feels like a steep acceleration.
Like, it's like, oh, my crazy fans. And it's like, that's a cult. They tried in ways to ramp up. Like, he shows up, and he's like, you know, kind of bullying him a little bit and, you know, mocking him. You're like, oh, you got a skinny dick or whatever. They're just doing really extreme workouts. He's not allowed to have his phone, all of that. Okay, cool. That part should last a week in of itself.
Yeah.
This boot camp should have been months long, not a week long, because trying to escalate from 0 to 100 in a week just doesn't work plot-wise. This guy would be insane to stick around for this. It just doesn't make any sense, because, like, I don't care how badly you want this, you're going to be like, this shit never affected me when I was winning championships in college. I'm just going to leave right now.
But see, what you're forgetting are two things. First off, this team, the San Antonio Saviors, I believe they're called, right?
I thought they said Sabres for the first 3 times, and then I was like, oh, Saviors? That's a stupid name.
They're the Saviors.
Yeah.
That's his father's team, right? They rooted for that team together as a family. And his father always wanted him to be on that team.
Apparently, the owner of the team killed his dad at some point.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? And they're like, we groomed you since you were a child. I laughed at that line. Like, yeah.
It was odd. But yeah, it was like he always wanted to be a part of that team. And so of course, you know, he wants to be on the team that his father roots for, his family roots for. And his father tells him when he sees Isaiah, is that the
Isaiah White,
break his leg at that Super Bowl victory. He tells him
what a man looks
it's what
like.
a man does. Sacrifice for your goals.
Yeah.
So, you know, the craziness, the head trauma, all that, that's sacrifice. That's that hero right there.
You need to build. You can't just go, all right, you're sacrificing your body. Oh, and now demons. You know, like, what the fuck? That was just insane. And, like, I get it, the Illuminati thing I was expecting, but we just got there so fast.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally, like, 6 days later. I was like, no, that's not how this should have worked. And it was just laughable how quick things happened. And there were so many hints at, like, ooh, what's that gonna be? Or, what interesting twist is coming here? Like, Marlon Wayans keeps going, I need to go watch film. And then the film is he's staring at a group of people cheering for him, and some of which are goat people.
Because it's the fans that give you the energy. You do it for them.
It's not, though. He said you gotta get it from within. You can't have external. It has to be within.
Yeah, and while he's staring at that, he's talking about, like, them giving him energy and feeling it. And,
Also, the whole thing, they lost me when they started getting into the reveal of it. Being, like, the same DNA in every guy is why, like, the chosen one. I'm like, okay, you could have gone full Illuminati and not done that.
Yeah.
Like, it could just be they find talented people and then make them subservient to the cult. I feel like that's the most believable version of the Illuminati, is believing that happens.
That's fair.
Not, oh, we just make people all have the same blood for 100 years.
See, I'm a little tainted by, of course, anime. And
Okay.
especially a show that was very popular as we were growing up that you never saw, I'm guaranteeing. Naruto. There's a character in Naruto. He's one of the main villains throughout most of the story. And one of the main conflicts is he's trying to... He basically convinces, you know, Naruto's best friend and rival to turn evil for power.
Okay.
And he's offering the kid power so the kid can go avenge the death of his family by going and killing his older brother or whatever. But the guy's offering him the power. The whole time he's secretly trying to raise up him as a powerful new vessel for immortality, essentially. Because he plans to live forever by constantly transferring his body into a younger, better vessel over and over again forever. I figured that's what this was. Now, there was no real crazy hints on that, but...
Excuse me.
Well, there's some.
Marlon Wayans said, I'll steal your youth.
Yeah, he did say that.
I was like, what the fuck? He just came out and said that.
I was thinking this before that. It's just like, it felt like this sort of story. But...
Yeah. It seemed like
somewhat that way, and then
because
wasn't.
They go
in
into the
end.
gladiator, and whoever wins the fight, I guess, steals the DNA.
Right,
or
which is interesting, but doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No,
because, like,
it really made zero sense.
It really doesn't. But like, would make sense if the outcome is I take over your body in the end, whatever. But if Isaiah won that one and he gets the energy, whatever,
then what?
He's a 40-year-old that's going to play till he's 50?
Yeah.
And he's the greatest ever at 50? And that's not suspicious as shit?
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, that didn't make any sense, which is why I thought even more that the resurrection angle was going to end up that way. And then it's just kind of, no, we're just in a long line of the same people. And don't ask what happens to the previous guy. I guess I'm dead at the end of this one. And don't ask how that's going to go over in the public or anything.
The movie, I did say it was bad the whole time. That's not entirely true. I thought the first, 15 minutes was good. Because I enjoyed, it starts out with him watching the football game as a kid.
Yeah.
And then he's an adult, or college kid. And he's, really good. And then he's working out, he's throwing footballs at a goalpost, which didn't make sense, but okay.
It's pinpoint accuracy.
And then the goat guy appears behind him and hits him, and I was like, all of that I enjoyed. And then also the fan making goat noises at him in the tunnel was funny, but also creepy. That was fun. It just, I think once he got to his house, it took a pretty steep nosedive.
Because it stops being, subtly creepy and just over the top.
Overtly and confusingly so.
It's like all the shit at the house. Okay, we've got the close your eyes for 2 seconds, turn around, hit the pass in motion 3 times in a row.
Meanwhile,
otherwise we're gonna smack this guy.
Murder this guy.
Ever increasing speed on the football, and I didn't realize it at first. I thought they were just players from somewhere. I guess the rest of them are players, and he's just an uber fan of Isaiah.
No. They were all free agents trying to make the team.
Okay. I thought they were, and then he was just someone else. Because at first I thought he was player, and then by the end of it, I'm thinking, is he just
they were all
some scrub?
No, they were scrubs. They were guys that weren't good enough to make a team.
Yeah.
He was like, this is your opportunity. And that was a fun angle you could have gone into, but didn't.
You know what also got me tripped up?
Huh.
And I shouldn't do this. This is very bad, but it's Jordan Peele produced, so kind of got me in there too. I was like, is there a reason that it's only the white guy doing it? That's what made me think even more. He's just
because he's
the one,
gritty.
the one that doesn't fit. He's the one not real player. He's like, I played in elementary school or some shit.
No, I think it was just it fit because I was thinking the whitey.
I didn't train him.
No, but the white wide receivers are typically the ones that they're less skilled, so they have to get by on the grit and the tenacity of it. So I was like, it would make sense for him to be the one to be a try hard and volunteer to get his face smashed in. So I was like, that's actually kind of true to character, I felt. But yeah, it's funny because it is Jordan Peele produced, and I know that means people are going to think he made it.
Yeah.
And especially because he probably produced it because it feels like a knockoff of one of his movies.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just so much worse than anything Peele would ever actually make. It's like somebody who was a super fan of Jordan Peele would make this movie. It was bad. And once again, just wasted potential because when I hear the plot, I go, holy shit, that should be good. That should be right up my alley. That should be one of my favorite movies of the year.
This looked really interesting the first time I saw the trailer.
Yeah. And then it just wasn't good at all.
Not really.
Except for, like I said, the first 15 minutes and maybe a moment here or there. You know what
Marlon
surprised
Wayans.
me? Marlon Wayans. The whole cast is very good. And what surprised me about that is Julia Fox plays Marlon Wayans' wife. Now, I've said on this and on my other channel more than once, Julia Fox is one of the worst actors alive. But they found a role for her. She was great. She was passable. She was okay.
Perfectly serviceable.
She was serviceable. And I was amazed because she is one of the least talented actors I've ever seen in my life. And they just had a role for her that she fit perfectly. Her death was really annoying and stupid, but other than that, it was fine. But see, that's another moment that I wanted this to be on a longer stretch and have more commentary and substance to it because they hinted at stuff that they never fleshed out. He's the college quarterback, black, he's mixed, but he's black, coming out of college, and he's got the black girlfriend and he's got the family and all of this.
Yep.
You know what happens to a lot of those guys? They dump the black girl, get married to a white girl, and that's when I'm talking like I know. It's a really big thing that a lot of people get really upset about is once the fame hits, once the money hits, you abandon your culture to get the fame and glory and the white woman and all of this stuff. And I was waiting for that to be a thing, and they hint at that with Marlon Wayans' wife being an evil mastermind in a way, and she says I run this league. I'm like, do you? You said that one line before you died. I would have loved to see that actually be shown. And like I said to you, I thought that they were going to be setting him up with this other girl and to replace, and I thought that would be a big point of contention.
Yeah.
No, it was just at one point they have him party with some girls that all I think are white, but they don't actually do anything with that. So it's they hinted at good ideas and never fleshed it out. I was like, where's the commentary? You bring up the goat shit and drop it. You bring up the white she-devil thing and you drop it. You bring up all these good ideas and you just don't flesh out or do anything with it. Scarlett Johansson should have directed this. She knows how to tell the story of the black man's plight.
You're right. Marlon, I like you and all. You were great in this role, but we needed ScarJo.
We needed ScarJo. We needed her. This movie was really missing her. I mean, I still might recommend this for like a fun night out if you got nothing better to do. But that's it. You know, it's pretty disappointing. It's got all the ingredients there. They just didn't do anything with it, which is a shame because I thought they had all of the right pieces. Like, the cast is good. Marlon Wayne's performance was good, especially. And, like, they were, you know, they had everything they needed to make this movie really something memorable, and it just fell flat.
It just seems like some obvious plays, too. Like,
Yeah.
like the what are you willing to sacrifice, the racial aspects of professional sports and especially the NFL. Jordan Peele is just producing, but still, you figure when he's involved in a movie like this, it's probably in a similar vein to him. It all just screams slam dunk, and then you just get...
Touchdown.
Yeah, true. It all just screams pick six, but then...
Oh, well. Yeah, 5s. Don't recommend either of these. This is the depressing podcast, isn't it? Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.